Hello, I don't know what is worse. A man in Moscow, Patriarch Kirill, who thinks that he's doing the right thing and clearly is not, and won't listen to anybody else, and a woman in London who thinks that she's doing the right thing, Priti Patel, and won't listen to anyone else, and isn't proposing to change her mind, despite the fact that in Russia people are dying, in England civil servants are threatening to leave their jobs. The UNHCR has said that the Rwanda project is a troubling development. Yes, we know that there is history. Yes, we know that Israel and Australia have both tried this sort of Rwanda-type experiment. It's proven legally questionable and fairly ineffective in both cases. But international eyebrow raising is nothing in comparison to the revolt promised by civil servants in the Home Office. There are supposed to be walkouts and innumerable transfer requests already being openly discussed. This is a revolt at the heart of the Home Office. And, Priti Patel, in contrast, will not change. More than that, even though she was told by her civil servants that this proposal would meet with objections, she insisted on it going ahead. She gave what is known as a ministerial direction, only the second in 30 years in the Home Office. She steamrolled this idea through. And presumably she steamrolled this idea through at the expense of the time that could have been given by her civil servants to sorting out the welcome that we should be giving to Ukrainian refugees, the welcome that we should have given to Afghan refugees. She has steamrolled this perverse and questionable and legally questionable plan through the Home Office at the expense of other lives. It will cost the equivalent, I mean, if you look at the sums, it will cost each refugee who is going to be housed in Rwanda is going to cost the equivalent of a year's school fees in a senior private school. Migrants will apparently be encouraged, more than that, to make their lives in Rwanda, assuming that they accept. Of course, all of them are men under the age of 40, so assuming that they are prepared to accept the discrimination against LGBTQ plus people. And no doubt they will then exude their gratitude. They will be grateful, no doubt, as of course former victims of people smugglers. They will be grateful to Britain, who has demonstrated their best interests at heart and who has helped to give them remedy, aid and hospitality, not in Britain, but in Rwanda, where they are going to make their future lives. This is what all their effort has been about. I simply, I'm astonished. And I think a lot of this has got to do with the sort of aggressive post-Brexit ramping up against what is actually a very small number of people crossing the channel, a very small number of people who have been preyed upon by people smugglers. These people are not the criminals. The criminals are the people smugglers. These people, even as Boris pointed out, are victims. And how are we dealing with victims? We are punishing them. Every single civil servant with a moral compass should be walking out of the Home Office. Every single one. As indeed, every single person in the Russian Orthodox Church should be walking out of that huge church which was rebuilt in the centre of Moscow next to the Iron Bridge. It was rebuilt on the site of an old Soviet swimming pool. and the Soviet swimming pool in turn had been built on the site of a former Russian cathedral. Now that new Russian church, where Kirill pontificates, is sinking. I don't think it can sink fast enough, and I'm afraid I don't think Priti Patel's career can sink fast enough. But we must wait and see what happens. Oh, and on the subject of sinking ships, think of the Moskva. And of course Mr. Putin's revenge for that, which is to send missiles to Kiev and to try and specifically target President Zelensky. It's worrying. Anyway, please follow the channel, ring the bell, please subscribe.